Good morning. We want to welcome you this morning to this Drainage District Board meeting for today, March 31st, 2015. President Dar, Commissioner Cuellar, Precinct 1, Commissioner Cantu, Precinct 2, Commissioner Palacios, Precinct 4, and myself. We have a quorum.
If I may, the prayer, Judge.
Please stand.
Let us pray. Father God, we give you thanks for another day that you've given us, the opportunity to serve you, Lord. I ask that you be with this board of directors, judge commissioners, department heads for this county, all the workers as well, Lord. Guide their thoughts that they may be productive today, Lord. Guide this board in the decisions that they're to make for the betterment of this community. It's in your Son Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Anyone sign up for open forum? All right, then our consent agenda, any concerns?
Everything in order?
Everything's in order.
If I may, just for the record, Judge, we do have on the consent a change order that was approved by myself. Part of the authorization you gave me last meeting was to negotiate.
Mr. Sassine, can we pull that item off consent?
Of course.
And then discuss that?
Yes, sir. If I may pull that item off the agenda.
Do you know the number?
It's item 5 under consent.
Move for approval of consent agenda excluding
Second.
item 5.
Those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge, just for the record, this is one of the items that you authorized me to negotiate anything under 50,000 change order. I want to put it from consent. I had mentioned to the board that traditionally we could do these under consent, but I wanted this first one to pull it off and just point it out that it was a small change order regarding a conflict with the irrigation and storm sewer line. And if it would be okay with the board in the future, just put them off for consent. And if you have any questions, you could always pull them from consent and ask, and I'll be able to answer those questions. And that's basically all I wanted to state. So everything's in order for the approval of this one.
Move for second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 5.
Item 5 is approval of resolution as it relates to flowage easement recorded in the deed records of Hidalgo County, Texas, in volume 1172, pages 20 through 26. This is an easement that is a 10-foot easement flowing in a northeasterly direction across some property that we no longer need. It's a 10-foot easement. It's been reviewed by legal, and everything's in order for the resolution to dissolve the easement. And we recommend approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 6, approval substantial completion certificate for contract number HCDD 1-14-025-0909, Mission Inlet Arch Culvert Aluminum Liner Plate Reline, project engineer R. Gutierrez Engineering, and contractor Foremost Paving. The substantial completion certificate was issued November 20th, 2014, and everything's in order for the substantial completion.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 7 is request approval certificate of construction completion for construction contract number HCDD 1-14-025-0909, Mission Inlet Arch Culvert Aluminum Liner Plate Reline, project engineer R. Gutierrez Engineering, contractor Foremost Paving, Inc. Everything's in order for the final completion certificate to be issued.
Move for approval?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 8 is discussion, consideration, approval, right-of-way entry request from Agua Special Utility Districts relates to Palm View Sewer Conveyance System Project. It's one of the projects that I brought before the board regarding the western section that they're going to be looking at using our drainage system to run a force main line as part of the EDAP funding that they receive from the Water Development Board, and they're just asking for a right of entry to be able to gather some field topography and so forth. And everything's in order for, legal has reviewed it as well, and it's in order for approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, 8B is request for approval agreement for limited right of entry with Electric Transmission Texas LLC, approximately 1.6 miles north of the intersection of FM 88, Military Highway. This is an area that we currently have a drainage system in place east and west of FM 88 north of Military. and they're requesting right of entry to clear it as part of their transmission line that they're going to be installing in the future there. Legal has already prepared or reviewed the agreement with their legal counsel, and everything's in order for the approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code, Section 262024A4, for the provisions of professional engineering services required for Precinct 2, Farmer McAllen Drain and South Flood Water Channel Watershed Improvement Project.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item D, presentation of the scoring grid of the firms graded and evaluated through the district's pool of pre-qualified professional engineers for the purpose of ranking by the Dow County Drainage District Number 1 Board of Directors in connection with professional engineering services required for Precinct 2, Farmer McAllen Drain and South Flood Water Channel Watershed Improvement Project. For the record, the firm names are listed there: LNG Consulting Engineers, a score of 93; Cruz Hogan Consultants, Inc., a score of 92; Millennium Engineers Group, a score of 90. Would the board like to rank them as read?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item E would be pursuant to board's approval, request authority for the Allen County Drainage District Number 1 to negotiate professional engineering services agreement with Number 1 ranked firm of LNG Consulting, Inc. for the provisions of engineering services for Precinct 2, Farm McAllen Drain and South Flood Water Channel Watershed Improvement Project.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Raul, for the record, can you just state who did the ranking?
The ranking was presented to the Precinct 2 staff did the ranking for this project,
All right, sir.
Judge. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Item F, presentation, discussion, and possible actions to relate to the new Dow County Drainage District Number 1 logo. This is an item that traditionally is not brought to the board when the logo changes. I know there's been several changes to the Drainage District, and I just wanted more of a formality to bring that before the board. I don't even know if it needs action. Legal counsel does it? It does? Okay. So the
Move for
logo
approval.
should be included in there for you.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item G, requesting approval of a pool of pre-qualified firms submitting statement of qualifications ranking on an as-needed basis per project by the Dow County Drainage District Number 1 Board of Directors for projects that require said services as set forth in the requirements stated in RFQ number ACDD 1-15-003-0318, Professional Surveying Services Pool.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
2013 bond series, requesting approval to advertise for RFP number of ACDD 1-15-006-0429A, Precinct 1, Tijerina Rural Development Drainage Improvements Project.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item I, requesting approval to advertise for RFP number ACDD 1-15-007-0429B, Precinct 1, Delta West Rural Development Drainage Improvement Project.
Move for approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item J, requesting approval to reject bid received for RFP number ACDD 1-15-002-0225, slope repair of North Main Drain Weir number 3 and South Main Drain Weir number 5. This is something that came in over budget, and it's something really that the district could shore up itself with some minor investment, and we're hoping to be able to utilize that leftover funding in other projects within the bond series.
Action?
Yes, sir, we do need action.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 9 is approve interlocal cooperation agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the County Drainage District Number 1 in relation to Tijerina Rural Drainage Development Project. This is just an interlocal that allows the district to work with the county on the drainage facilities.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Request approval to issue payment on the following items that were procured outside the district's purchasing guidelines. Item Safety Clean invoice number 664-05020, dated 3/12/15, in an amount of $565.02. This was something that they performed some cleaning of the fuel systems, and without a PO, I've already instructed my staff to get that set up properly to make sure that we don't have this issue happen again, and probably set up on a monthly basis to be able to clean our system. So, but it is in order for the payment of the claim. The
Move for
services were provided.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
And Judge, if I may, we do have some closed session items.
Pursuant of 551071 and 072, I need a motion to proceed to executive session.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries. It's 9:21, we'll be in executive session for a few minutes. Open session, and our Drainage District meeting, Mr. Sassine.
Yes, sir, if I may, sir. Under real estate acquisition, I'd like to present the board with, to make an offer for legal description tracts 126, 127, 128, 129, 130, 133, 134, 135, 136, 137, 138, 142, 143, 144, 145, 147, 148, and 149 of the Homeville A subdivision, Hidalgo County, for, it's a total gross acreage of 84.920 acres, and the amount being, that we are going to be authorizing to offer will be $281,977.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, at this time, we're going to be convening our regular meeting of the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court for today, March 31st, 2015. The entire court being present, we have a quorum, and at this time, we have the privilege of having with us today a special group of children to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. These children range in ages from 3 to 5 years of age and are from the ELSA Head Start Center, whose director is Ms. Alicia Becerra. Please join us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Whenever they're ready. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job.
I'd like to name the children Hermes Prado, Jason Garcia, Jaylene Morales, Ava Sofia Perez, Brooke Rico, Jaceira Chavez, Eduardo Hernandez, Maritza Roldan, Daniel Garcia, Mason Villalpando, Yaneli Peña, and Anaika Rubalcado. Thank you. Yes. We have an item on the agenda, and these children are here for a very big reason. We have a proclamation for the Week of the Young Child, April the 13th through the 16th, before Commissioners Court. This Week of the Young Child is an annual celebration that is associated with the Association of the Education of Young Children, the world's largest early childhood education association.
And the item number, did I say 17?
Yes, I'm sorry, it is 17F. It's approval of proclamation for Week of the Young Child, April the 13th through the 16th. The purpose of the Week of the Young Child is to focus on public attention regarding the needs of young children and their families, and to recognize the early childhood programs and services that meet those particular needs. We're asking Commissioners Court to proclaim the week of April the 13th through the 16th as the Week of the Young Child in Hidalgo County, and urge citizens to work together to help provide children with the support they need to develop skills, confidence, and to find the inner strength and the will and the fire of a human spirit to make their dreams come true. We recommend approval of this proclamation.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
You want to go ahead and cover all your items? They
Yes, I
involve
do. I do want to recognize the teachers. Mrs. Garcia is the teacher, and Ms. Rodriguez the assistant teacher. Thank you for bringing them over. We do have,
Thank you, guys.
the event takes place at the Community Center Jose Pepe Salinas. On those days, the public is welcome to come and read to children. We do that with community members, Commissioners Court members included. And so we promote reading. We have activities for them all week long. We bring 1/4 of the children each day over to the center. And all of the employees in Head Start participate in this event. Thank you. The agenda item, the first one that we have, A1, discussion and approval of Hidalgo County's program self-assessment report. The report is provided on a yearly basis. It gives us an opportunity to improve on any of the areas that we find that we need to address, and we develop plans for it, and the report is included. I don't know if there's any questions regarding any of the items that are in there related to the report, but it does require approval.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Second one is discussion approval to advertise and approval of statement of qualification requirements for the scope of services in the following areas: medical and dental providers, mental health providers, sign language interpreting providers, which we need for special services.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Letter C is presentation for discussion and consideration and approval to enter into a memorandum of understanding, MOU, between Hidalgo County Head Start Program and South Texas College, Hidalgo County Health and Human Services Agency.
Move for
Move for
approval.
approval on C, A, and B.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The next item is a discussion and possible action of Commissioners Court regarding House Bill 1765, and Governor Abbott's Educating Texas Plan. This particular bill that it was introduced by Representative Lozano from Kingsville and Abbott's bill have very damaging statements in there regarding Head Start. What we need is your support in getting a proposition, something delivered to the governor, and we are also working with trying to get our local representatives and senators to deal with this. But in Governor Abbott's plan and in the bill, they say that parents should not be enrolling children in Head Start because of all the deficiencies. They have taken a study, an impact study, have quoted things out of context, and have given incomplete information. The National Head Start Association has given a response with the kinds of things that Head Start has learned in 50 years. Head Start has been in providing services for 50 years. This is the 50th year anniversary, and I don't know where the governor gets his information, but he certainly needs to talk to us to be able to get information regarding our 50 years of experience with Head Start and early childhood education. I believe that we should be able to provide for all the children in the valley, and if the state is providing funding for those children, that's wonderful. We can do things hand in hand, as we're doing with our school districts in the Valley. And I want to call particular attention to PSJA because we have one of the most comprehensive partnerships with them, and we coexist. We work together to be able to deliver services for children and to have them ready for school. One of the things that is said is that we don't prepare children for school, which is erroneous information that has been given out there somewhere. When you look at the plan, the characteristics of what he calls a gold standard plan are the characteristics that Head Start enjoys right now. Those are the practices we have in place. We have a research-based curriculum. We assess children. We hold teachers accountable. We have assessment instruments that have to do with how teachers deliver services. And so we believe that our program has the gold standard characteristics that the governor has talking about. So with this in mind, and you can look through the information that has been given to you, we would like support from the Commissioners Court related to these two bills. Certainly that the bill doesn't get anywhere, and then that Abbott's plan is influenced by his engaging of people in our community, in Head Start, and throughout the state. We're not the only organization that is going to present information to the governor and his staff, as well as to representatives and senators, but we feel very strongly that the voices have to be heard. And so we're asking for commissioners to
Move for approval.
address.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. The last one is a discussion and approval of Hidalgo County Head Start's Resolution 2015, the resolution recognizing the contributions of Hidalgo County Head Start program, improving the educational and economical opportunities of economically disadvantaged children and families it serves, and calling upon the Valley Legislative Delegation to pass a similar resolution. I'm not reading the whole resolution, but I'm reading the part where it is resolved that the Policy Council calls upon Hidalgo County Commissioners Court to request the Valley Legislative Delegation to recognize the contributions of Head Start programs and the significant educational benefits and opportunities it has afforded Valley children and the services provided to the poorest families in the Valley. Number 3, the Hidalgo County Head Start Program Policy Council supports the Texas legislative efforts to provide early educational opportunities to the state's disadvantaged children to further improve academic success. Number 4, the Hidalgo County Head Start Policy Council calls upon this legislature to include, as part of House Bill 1765, the contributions made by the Head Start programs in the state of Texas in preparing children of low-income families for public schools and to encourage families and enroll their children in Head Start programs, as well as in state-funded pre-kindergarten programs, funding for nutritional programs, health, dental care, and other family services as provided by Head Start. Call upon the state to do that. The last one is to require public schools and Head Start programs to develop and/or expand partnerships to address school readiness collaboratively and develop an integrated model whereby both entities plan for and deliver a gold standard, high-quality, accountable pre-kindergarten program which will demonstrate long-term success. And that is the resolution passed by the Policy Council and here for your approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Yes.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimously.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Judge, if I could just add one thing. We've been meeting with Mrs. Flores from Head Start. We had reached out to our delegation, but we'll be heading up there next week with her and her staff to talk about this further. But just so you know, HB 1765 by Lozano, that one actually discourages enrollment in Head Start and going towards public school. And right now, there's a bill that's moving further along about pre-K, which is HB 4. So that one looks like it's moving further along. So I think that's the one that they need to be at the table on, because it doesn't appear Lozano's is going anywhere. So that's just my update. Thank you.
All right. Teresa, I just wanted to commend you for the work that you and your organization has been doing. I know that the Head Start program has been in existence for approximately, 50 years? It was one of the programs that survived the true test of time, established during Lyndon B. Johnson's War on Poverty Initiative, And I think it's a tremendous program, and I hope that the legislature sees fit to keep on extending it. Thank you. Commissioner Palacios, you indicated you had some items you want me to move up?
Yeah, Judge, if it pleases the court, I would have to step out shortly. Family member is experiencing emergency surgery this morning, and I want to make sure that I'm there. But the item that I'm asking to bring out of order is item 22A. Items 1 and 2, it's the approval of interlocal cooperative agreement between the Hidalgo County and Edinburgh Consolidated Independent School District referencing the repaving of a bus barn. And item 2 is in accordance with the Texas Government Code, Section 791.014, is the approval of the interlocal cooperative agreement project known as the bus parking paving project. This is a cooperative deal that we have with the school district. It's a way where the precinct's able to be engaged and obviously get a better return on their investment on some of their needed work there at the school district.
Move for approval.
Move for
1 and 2.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The other item, Judge, would be 23, 3?
24? If you want.
20, let's do the budget if you don't
Okay.
mind, Marty. It has to do with some of our paving
I'm
projects.
sorry, what number?
It would be item number 23-3.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners, City Cruz Department of Budget and Management. Item 23B3 is approval of 2015 appropriation of funds and interfund transfer in the amount of $2,403,459.38. And this is for Certificates of Obligation 2014, and this is to fund various road projects.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The last items, Judge, would be item 24J1, and Marty can take over with those.
Yes, this is for Precinct 4. This is J1A, acceptance and approval to execute the final form.
Hold on,
of
Marty. 24 what?
J1, under purchasing, page 13.
A, right?
Yes.
Okay, go
Okay.
ahead.
This is acceptance and approval to execute the final form of the professional engineering agreement with LNG, job-specific project from FM 1925, from 1,500 feet west of 10th Street to McCall Road within Hidalgo County Precinct 4, as approved for negotiations back on March the 3rd.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
B would be acceptance and approval of work authorization 1 with an estimated cost of $428,840 as submitted by LNG Engineering. And that is for the same project you just approved final contract for.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
Judge, if I may comment on that one, that's the partnership project that we have with the City of Edinburgh. It's both City of Edinburgh and the County of Hidalgo Precinct 4. Both have agreed to work with the state on the expansion of Monte Cristo Road from what will be the new 10th Street all the way to McCall. It's a section that we've experienced a lot of fatalities on, and it's a good partnership deal that we're able to work with the City of Edinburgh and TxDOT.
Moving on to item C, this is requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under Texas Local Government Code 262-024A4, a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
D is presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking. This is for an on-call building repairs, renovations, alterations, additions, and other related services to county-owned buildings. This is Halfin Associates at 98, Joyce Cook 95, and RO Engineering at 94. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
Authority for purchasing to commence negotiations with the number 1 ranked firm, On-Call Engineering Services, with Halfin Associates.
Move for approval.
Approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item F, requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements, 262-024A, a professional service.
So move.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye, motion carries.
Presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking for on-call appraisal services for Hidalgo County Precinct 4, Leonel Garza at 96, Appraisal House at 93, and Nittler Appraisal and Consulting at 91. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Authority for purchasing to commence negotiations with the number one firm of Leonel Garza and Associates.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2, regarding requesting approval to purchase the following vehicles through county's membership and participation with HGAC. This is for the quantity posted and the amount of $93,173, which includes delivery and one-time administration fee.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Aye, motion carries.
Item 3, this is also requesting exemption under 262-024A for a professional service.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is presentation of the scoring grid for the professional engineering services for project on Ware Road Sections 1 and 2 from Mile 5 to FM 1925.
Move for
And this is Building Transportation Infrastructure, BTI 94, Fulcrum Consulting Services at 96, and LNG at 98. Does the court wish to rank them in the order of their scores?
Move for approval.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Authority for purchasing to commence negotiations with the number one ranked firm of LNG.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Judge,
Item
just
four,
a
we-
comment on that one, it's a partnership deal that we do have with the City of McAllen and TxDOT. We are currently going to break ground for the sections between Mile 3, Mile 5. We're looking forward to constructing the ultimate section from Mile 5 all the way to Monte Cristo Road. I see Andrew Cannon. I want to thank the MPO and all the members of the MPO on giving us the construction dollars to let those segments out. But it is a partnership deal as well. Just want to comment on that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Item 4, there'll be no action. It'll be placed on, and Godspeed to Rene.
Yeah, thank you.
Our prayers are with him.
Okay, already. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good
Luck.
luck. Now, I've also been asked to move up an item involving all these young people from our county. What item are we talking about? Julie?
Good morning. We're talking about item 6D, 2 and 3, authorization for the county judge to sign an affiliation agreement for the internship preceptorship program. And item 3 is approval of the appointment of intern Leslie Y. Leal from Business Education and Technology Academy in Edinburgh. And if we can call up Ms. Leal and Ms. Showery. These two items, again, are to appoint this young lady to serve as an intern with the purchasing department. Would you like to say a few words? Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'd like to explain, thank you very much, and also explain about our district. Business Education Technology Academy is a high school. It's a magnet with the Magnet School District of South Texas Independent School District. And I have the honor to be the instructor and the coordinator of internship placements as well as academic instruction of business administration. I also do have a section of technology students. So these kids apply and they qualify. So Leslie is the only student that's 18 years old, and per the county's policy, you have to be 18. We've had several students that have worked for the county in different offices and have learned a tremendous amount of experience, and many of them have gone on to study political science and city and county and state government. I'm very proud of them. Leslie has been appointed to the purchasing department. And Leslie, you can say a little bit about your accounting experience and why you were interested in it.
Well, in school I took Accounting 1, and I also have an aunt that owns a restaurant in Mexico, and I helped her do all of her accounting work in the summer. So yeah, I've been working for her for 2 years now.
So she's interested about all these vehicles that the county purchases, and she's going to see all types of invoices and all types of descriptions, and it's a real-world application. Thank you very much, Commissioners, Judge Ramon Garcia, and all the staff that has been so helpful. Thank you very, very much.
Move for approval on
Second.
B1, 2.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Wait a minute, Dave. 2 and 3, right?
Do we do
Yes.
1, 2, and 3?
1, 2,
Oh,
3.
1, 2, 3, I guess, yeah.
Total.
Wait a minute.
Congratulations, Leslie. You'll do a great job. Learn a lot. Sir, can we move up on to item 6A, the resolution from Congressman Hinojosa recommended declaring April 2015 as Autism Awareness Month?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if the folks from Team Mario, and with us, we've got Cindy Garza from Congressman Hinojosa's office, Melinda Moreno, who's the Executive Director for Team Mario, and the Marketing Director, Christine Clifford. By the way, Melinda Moreno is Mario's mom. This is a resolution, item 6A, is a resolution proclaiming April as Autism Awareness Month in Hidalgo County. This month is dedicated to raising awareness and educating the community of the autism spectrum disorders through various activities and events. In Hidalgo, we have this very special group, Edinburgh-based organization that's dedicated to serving children and families affected by ASD, and it's called Team Mario. So this resolution is to proclaim April 2015 as Autism Awareness Month and encourages our communities to participate in autism awareness events such as the Superheroes 5K Run for Autism and the Buddy Fun Walk on Saturday, April 11th at Edinburgh Municipal Park, and that's coordinated by Team Mario.
Good morning, Judge
morning.
and Commissioners. On behalf of Team Mario, we would like to express our extreme gratitude for this honor to be proclaimed for Autism Awareness Month. We truly appreciate all your support, and we'd also like to express our gratitude and thank Congressman Hinojosa's office for all their influence in helping us get our program started. And we'd just like to invite the community and families to come participate in our Superhero 5K. And we invite anyone and everyone to learn about our services and our organization at teammario.org. And we are here to serve our families and community affected by autism spectrum disorders. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if you'll go on and...
Move for approval.
Second.
Thank you.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And this young fellow is Mario. So if you'd like to come up and take a...
He is our honorary member, and he's the one who inspired us to start Team Mario. He has overcome so many things, just like many of our children affected by autism, and he is an extremely awesome story that you can also learn about at teammario.org. Thank you.
Oh.
You're going to do more resolutions?
Yes.
I'm trying to get the state out as quickly as I can. I'm trying to get the judge to get us out back to the office, because they'll be leaving.
That's the next one, I think.
No.
No.
The state is
See?
it's under Valde. No.
Oh.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's move on to 6B.
Okay. Item 6B is a proclamation declaring Tuesday, April 7th as National Service Recognition Day in Hidalgo County. Joining us today, and please come up, are Jose T. Perez, the CEO of the Senior Community Outreach Services, Inc., Jaime Longoria, Community Services Agency's Interim Executive Director, Juan Cedillo, RSVP Project Director, and several volunteers. In addition to proclaiming April 7th as National Service Recognition Day, the proclamation also encourages residents to thank those who serve and to find ways to give back to their communities.
Judge, Commissioners, good morning. Jaime Longoria with Community Service Agency, Interim Director. I'd like to introduce Mr. Juan Cedillo, who's the Program Manager for this particular aspect of CSA, which is the Retired Senior Volunteer Program. Mr. Cedillo.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I want to thank you for putting this item on the agenda to recognize our volunteers that we have throughout Hidalgo County, Willacy County, Cameron County, which is over 500 volunteers who give their service voluntarily to the community in schools, hospitals, churches. Thank you.
Judge, Commissioners, I'd like the volunteers to come up so they can...
I need to speak.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. Go ahead. Pasi.
Good morning, County Judge Ramon Garcia.
Morning, sir.
And Commissioners, County Commissioners. I want to thank you for proclaiming or recognizing the volunteers of Hidalgo County. We have AmeriCorps programs in Hidalgo. We're blessed with the Senior Corps. We have 3 programs. One of them is the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, which has been Mr. Cedillo runs in Hidalgo. And we also have the Foster Grandparent Program and the Senior Companion Program. The Senior Companion Program is the one that I manage within our organization. I would like to say a little bit about each program so that we can understand the programs and what the work that we're doing here. The Foster Grandparent Program provides one-to-one attention to children and youth most at risk in schools, shelters, correctional facilities, early childhood centers, and after-school programs. Through a caring, nurturing, mentoring role, foster grandparents provide assistance and encouragement to help improve reading skills, school attendance, behavior, and the well-being of children in their care. The Retired Senior Volunteer Program connects volunteers 55 and older with services opportunities that impact positive change, improve quality of life, and meet critical needs in their community. The Senior Companion Program, which I'm very proud of, provides assistance and friendship to frail individuals who are homebound and generally live alone by taking care of simple chores, providing transportation to medical appointments, offering contact with the outside world. Senior Companions often provide the essential service that enables frail citizens to remain in their own home. And those are the 3 programs that are under the Senior Corps program. And have, over the 45 years of successful performance measurements, has provided cost-effective services to America who needs attention or a helping hand, saving American millions of dollars for decades. The Senior Corps program and older volunteers have been the cornerstone of national service and civic engagement. During difficult federal budget times, senior volunteers are a stabilizing force in communities across our nation by providing the most cost-effective services to those in need. And we thank you for declaring April 7th National Service Day. And you're also joined other mayors in the Rio Grande Valley who are also doing the same thing.
Can we go
Thank
ahead
you.
and take a photo of them? You'd like to join in for a photo? Join in for a photo? Maybe you can hold it. Volunteers? please come on up. Thank you for your service. We're going to take a picture, commissioners. Is that? Congratulations. Sir, this young lady in the pink has volunteered for over 22 years, I'm told, right in front of Judge Garcia. Okay, thank you. Item 6C.
What is the next item?
A proclamation declaring, item 6C is a proclamation declaring the month of March as Professional Social Workers Month in Hidalgo County. And this is in recognition of the men and women who provide compassionate assistance to the citizens of Hidalgo County. Joining us is Lucia Leo Diaz, the NASW President-elect for the Texas chapter.
Good morning.
Good morning.
On behalf of the National Association of Social Workers and the faculty and students of UT Pan American, we'd like to express our appreciation to the Commissioners Court and to Judge Garcia for this opportunity. Social workers are employed in all agencies that have been presented and represented this morning, including working with children that have autism, social service agencies, veterans, Easter SEALs, hospitals, schools, senior services, homeless population, substance abuse agencies, crime victims, mental health, and domestic violence shelters. As licensed social workers, we strive to provide a holistic approach to service delivery and to facilitate positive change by empowering individuals to improve their own lives. We'd like to thank all the social workers for their hard work, their dedication, and their commitment to this honorable profession. Thank you.
They need to pass. Okay.
Move for approval.
Okay.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
If we can take a quick photo, please. There are some faculty members and some social workers, I believe, that are coming up. UTPA faculty members.
Good morning. Good morning.
Some parking after this.
Oh, is it? Now we know why. Good morning to all of you, and thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, man. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Before we go any further, I want to take some time to acknowledge that today, March 31st, 1927, was the birthday of Cesar Chavez, and today has been declared Cesar Chavez Day. Cesar Chavez was a migrant farm worker, union leader, and organizer, late founder and president of the United Farm Workers of America, who dedicated his life to improving the treatment, pay, and working conditions of farm workers. He brought national awareness to the dangers of pesticides to farm workers' health. Cesar Chavez employed nonviolent means such as marches, boycotts, and went on several hunger strikes to further his efforts. Cesar Chavez taught us que si se puede, that with organization, unity, and a willingness to sacrifice, that our cause would be won. There is no turning back. We will win. We are winning because ours is a revolution of mind and heart, said Cesar Chavez. Please join me in acknowledging today as being Cesar Chavez Day.
Commissioners,
Yes.
Judge, when we moved the internship preceptorship program up, we have one other item under 6D, and that's the approval for Hidalgo County to participate in the 2015 LEAD Job Shadow Days program.
What item are you reading now?
It's D, item 6D, number 1.
We already did 1, 2, and 3.
No, we did 2 and 3.
No, we
Yeah.
did 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, we did?
1, 2, and 3, yeah.
Okay, I apologize. I apologize.
Steve was the one, I approved 1, 2, and then Steve said add 3 on there.
All right, thank you. All right,
You want to cover E and F?
sure. E. The last item I have for you today on this agenda is item 6E, and that's discussion, consideration, and approval regarding the interlocal agreement between Hidalgo County and Mission Consolidated School District to broadcast Commissioners Court meetings. Mission CISD has already approved the interlocal agreement, and the agreement has been approved as to form by Victor Garza in our DA's office. To date, we have agreements in place with Weslaco ISD, PSJA ISD, and pending agreements with La Jolla ISD, VTEX 1, and we're also working to secure agreements with Edinburgh CISD and McAllen ISD. And these are to broadcast Commissioners Court meetings through their channels throughout the county.
And it's free.
It's free of cost to the
Those
county,
in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. At no cost to the county.
at no
which-
cost to the county.
That's good negotiating.
Thank you. Thank you.
Judge, on 6F, we have Andrew Cannon here for the MPO presentation. He promised he'd be brief.
What item is that on?
Just for that, I may filibuster. No.
Andrew, what item are you on? Oh, is the next one.
6F.
6F. Go
Yes, sir,
ahead.
Judge. This is our annual thoroughfare plan update. It's gone through the process of consultation with all of the local governmental entities by my staff, and through the approval process through those local governmental entities, as well as my policy committee. And with me today is Luis Diaz, who's a GIS and planner in my office, who will give you the dynamics of those updates. And if you have any questions, be glad to answer those afterwards.
Oh, good morning. We received a total of 52 amendments throughout the county towards our thoroughfare plan. We had the City of Alton, they submitted 3 amendments to us. We have City of McAllen also with 3 amendments. The City of FAR submitted 5 amendments towards our plan. County Commissioners Precinct 1 submitted 6 amendments. County Commissioner Precinct 3, we had 12 amendments. County Commissioner Precinct 4, we had 10 amendments. The Hidalgo County RMA submitted 1 amendment. The Hidalgo County RMA and TxDOT submitted 12 amendments. All our amendments were approved by our Transportation Policy Committee on February 26, 2015, so we're seeking approval here at the county level. All amendments have been applied to our maps already. They're available upon request. It will be available on our website as well. We will be starting up the 2015 process again in August of this year, and we will be coming again to County Commissioners Court in March of 2016, seeking approval for the amendments for this year. Thank you.
Move for approval. Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good morning,
morning.
Judge, Commissioners. Item 6G,
Yes.
Housing Authority item. This is authorization for Judge Garcia to sign the certification by state or local official of PHA plans consistency with the consolidated plan to be submitted by the Hidalgo County Housing Authority for their annual year capital fund program application. And I introduce you to Mr. Lopez.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. This is a HUD requirement. We have to resubmit our housing activity plan for the next 5 years, and then we update it every year. We've gone ahead and had our resident council comment on it. It was all affirmative. We submitted it to Urban County. We received a certification from them that it does meet your consolidated county plan.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I know there's another item involving the Housing Authority, the County Housing Authority, and that's 19A,
Mike?
under Precinct 1 Commissioner, the appointment of a member to the board.
Yes, appointing Oscar J. Ramirez.
Yes, sir, that is the tenant appointee, and his term is up.
Okay. Oscar J. Ramirez.
Yes, sir.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, Mr. Guerra?
Judge, thank you. I'm going to skip to item 7C, status update on Community Service Agency, CSA operations. I'm going to ask Mr. Longoria to update the court.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. Jaime Longoria with Community Service Agency, Interim Director. Judge Commissioners, I was appointed about 2 weeks ago on March the 17th. I'm going to keep this report very brief. First of all, I'd like to introduce you to two individuals. One of the things that I mentioned to the court from the very beginning was we would be working very closely with the funding agency, the agency that does fund us and also has oversight of this particular agency from a state standpoint. So with me today I have Michael DeYoung. Mr. DeYoung is the Director of Community Affairs for the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. I also have Kathy Collingsworth. She's the Manager of the Fiscal and Reporting Department for the Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs. Just very briefly, I'd like to give you an overview of the agency, and then I'll let Mr. DeYoung address you folks. I've broken down my interim director's report into 5 categories. We are pretty much in the agency in an assessment mode. We're spending an awful lot of time talking to staff, talking to clients, talking to partnering agencies, and talking to the advisory board, and just trying to assess exactly where the agency is. Under the programmatic section, what we've done is we've assessed how the client case flow, how a client processes through the agency, and we've assessed that. We've gotten a good understanding of that together with these folks, and we're ready to make some changes that are going to kind of change the direction of client flow. Under the fiscal department, what we've done is we've asked Mr. Ofracio and the county auditor to come in and give us a baseline audit. They have been in our facility. They've requested records. So we're trying to get on the fiscal side a baseline of where the agency is in terms of fiscal operations. Under governance, what we did was we contacted the advisory board. We did have an advisory board meeting last Monday, a week ago yesterday. Mr. Crane attended together with Mr. Guerra, together with some of the chiefs of staff, together with the advisory board. So we've interfaced with them. We've informed them of the transition. So we're working with the board on that front. Under the technology area, what we've done is we've assessed what the needs are, what the current situation is in terms of technology within the agency, computers, computer software, communication systems, telephones, those kinds of things. And a couple things I'm proud to report is all of our staff are currently internet connected and email connected so that we're able to communicate as an agency with our monitoring agency. Together, we're able to communicate within the agency, and that's going to facilitate a lot of this transition going forward. One of the other things I wanted to report, and this is kind of the catch-all, the other section of what we've done, is we've assessed together with the transition team that you had appointed of Mr. Chris Trevino, Darlene Sarmiento, and Roland Garcia. We've assessed kind of the whole operation, but in particular, there's a gap in terms of the inventory control system, just agency-wide. How does that fit into what we're doing? Is we take up a lot of space with things we haven't been able to surplus. A lot of old records, a lot of old equipment that we need to surplus. So we're working very closely with our purchasing office to develop that inventory system and get some of those things out physically out of the building and kind of trying to put a new face on the agency. In addition, we're talking to the possibility of looking at new quarters, looking at new kinds of equipment and things like that. I know this is a very brief summary. I know your agenda is very, very long, so I'm going to keep it very brief. I would urge the commissioners and the court to either come out to the facility in the next couple of days, because these folks will be there through tomorrow noon, or send your chiefs of staff to meet with us. We're very interested in visiting with you all, and also visiting with just the general public in terms of where we are as an agency and where we would like to see this go. So without further ado, I'm going to ask Mr. DeYoung to go ahead and address the court.
Judge Garcia and members of the court, my name is Michael DeYoung, Community Affairs Division Director. We came down on Sunday night, met with Mr. Longoria, the interim director, and we're taking this opportunity to kind of, as Mr. Longoria said, assess the current state of the Community Service Agency. I'll be honest, not all the agencies we deal with are a function of the county government. It adds some complexity to the solutions that can be enacted by Mr. Longoria and with the staff. Our commitment at TDHCA was, when we received the phone call, was that we'd come down and we would train. We'd train the staff, we'd train Mr. Longoria, we'd work, help him assess where this agency needs to go. I think we've done a lot in the last, well, we worked yesterday and we worked Sunday night a little bit. We're going to work all day today. Our current assessment is, you have a lot of talented staff at that agency, but there is a opportunity to make sure that we fully expend the funds, and I think each of you at the Commissioners Court would agree that we don't need to be sending money back to Austin. We need to spend every dollar here in Hidalgo County, and we certainly can do that. So we're going to be working on that. It's an opportune time for us to reboot kind of how this agency works. There's a lot of increased presence from the federal government on how these funds should be operated, tracked, and spent. We're going to work with Mr. Longoria on making sure that he has those tools in place so that you can be assured that when a dollar is spent by Hidalgo County Community Action, that it is spent in a compliant way, that it's spent on the right population, and that we fully expend that entire grant. So we want to do all this and not interrupt client services. And that's not easy to do, but we're committed. Ms. Collinsworth and myself will be down here until tomorrow afternoon. We're going to be back. We're going to have training staff come down, and we'll piece by piece walk through and get the staff to a point where they can fully expend every dollar. And then the good news is if you expend every dollar, we can come back with some additional dollars that other agencies in the state of Texas haven't spent, and we can get additional services delivered. So we appreciate the concern of the court. We appreciate the staff time that's been involved. Mr. Longoria has been very gracious in his time to sit down with us and walk us through the process. So we'll be back, and if it pleases the court that we come back and give you an update later on, we'll certainly do that. So thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Judge, Commissioners, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that the county has provided a lot of support. I'll have to call them out at this point is Buildings and Grounds, the IT department, the budget office, the executive office, Monica Badillo, Mr. Guerra, purchasing, all of these departments that have these resources in the county have called me and expressed a willingness to assist, and certainly the precincts as well. I know I probably missed somebody. I apologize for that, but I'll tell you, in the 2 weeks that I've been there, I've had a flurry of phone calls from all of these departments in the county saying, how can we assist? Head Start was another one. How can we assist? How can we make things better? So, with that, I do have an awful lot of gratitude, and going forward, I look forward to those relationships. Yes, sir. We also have another item, Judge, just briefly under Human Resources. It's item number 9A, and I'm kind of in a hurry to get out because the more time I spend with these folks, the more time we can spend assessing the agency. So it is discussion and consideration and approval to create the following temporary full-time positions, not to exceed 6 months. These are 4 clerk positions that would be funded out of Community Service Agency grant funds. The reason for this is kind of a safety net for me. As we reboot, as we change the service delivery model, my concern is that we've got to keep the current operation moving forward, and there may be some kinds of, since we're so dependent on paper at this point, as we move into the automated model, there may be some need for clerical type positions to kind of keep us moving. So this is my safety net. If I don't need these 4 positions, certainly I won't advertise for them, but I'd like to have approval from the court going forward.
Steve, can I approve 1, 2, and 3 on this?
Yes, sir.
Move for approval on 9A, 1, 2, and 3.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
these are going to be filled from the pool?
Yes. Okay. I will say, just for the record, Commissioners, there is a pool already that was advertised by the county. There was an advertisement for clerks. So there is a pool of applicants. With your authorization, I'm going to pull from that pool, okay? So that we don't have to re-advertise and go through that process again. Okay? Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Thank you so
Keep it
much.
up.
Thanks.
All right, at this time, we move on to item 19, no,
We're long.
what number is it? Item number 20A. It's a resolution in support of designating FM 907 as the Santa Ana National Wildlife Trail.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. At this time, we bring forward a resolution in support of designating FM 907 as the Santa Ana National Wildlife Trail. Due to the lack of signage on the Valley Expressways for the refuge, it makes it difficult for thousands of people to locate the most diverse national wildlife lands in the United States. Therefore, designating FM 907 as the Santa Ana National Wildlife Trail will benefit tourists and locals alike. This is important because of the growing ecotourism in the Rio Grande Valley, which brings in excess of $500 million of taxes to the Rio Grande Valley. So at this time, be it resolved that the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court does hereby support the designation of appropriate signage to establish FM 907 as a Santa Ana National Wildlife Trail, which will aid tourists visiting the wildlife refuge and other nature tourist destinations in the Rio Grande Valley.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Another picture.
About social lives. All right, let's go back and on our regular agenda. And at this time, we move on to item number 4, approval of our consent agenda.
Judge, I would like to ask that consent agenda item 14E be pulled for discussion.
Move for approval with 14E.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries.
You going to address 14E, Mark?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
14E is under Precinct 2. This is approval of the following items for Texas Cordia Construction LLC for Roadrunner subdivision paving and drainage improvements as submitted and recommended by project engineer. And one is the application of the final payment of $144,797.10. And B was acceptance of certificate of substantial completion reflecting the date of February 20th, 2015. The concern by the auditor is that the final payment includes a change order number 4, which is a decrease of $4,000, which has not been approved by Commissioners Court. Precinct 2 personnel in Ms. Erica Zamora responded to that yesterday, stating change order number 4 will be ratified by Commissioners Court on the next agenda. PO increase has been submitted for CO number 3 and is being prepared on CO number 4. I believe that the recommendation by the precinct at this time would be subject to that ratification on April 14th.
Is it okay with you, Mr. Ofracio?
Either that or you can wait till next week, either one, however you want to do it.
Move for approval on that.
Second.
Those in
Subject
favor,
to
say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion
Subject
carries.
to.
Yeah.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, now under open forum, the first presenter is Ms. Marta Sanchez.
Good morning, Judge and
Good morning,
Commissioners. I'm here this morning, and you just took the word out of my mouth because today is the 31st. And I was here to mention that today is Cesar Chavez's birthday, and we celebrated with a great big march on Saturday, where we have almost 1,000 people. We miss all of you, but we also wanted to recognize that the best way to honor Cesar Chavez is not to have the day off, as like many people think, is to do the work that you're doing, because we always said that the best way to remember is his legacy of service to the people. And I think you've been doing a wonderful day today because you've been recognizing the people who serve the community. And I think that this is the way that we wanted to remember Cesar Chavez, by doing the work that needs to be done to improve the lives of the people in the colonias, especially since there's the people that you recognize the most. And so also I wanted to mention that we have a young group of people who came to do exactly that, and that's from the University of Medicine, Wisconsin, who came to serve the community that we serve in Lupe, La Unión del Pueblo Entero, because Cesar Chavez not only found the United Farm Workers, but also founded Lupe, La Unión del Pueblo Entero, together with Dolores Huerta. So I want to recognize all the students who came to visit us and serve the whole, instead of spending the week in the beach, they came to serve the people in the colonias. And so they've been helping to do all the work that needs to be done by, and this is the way that we honor the memory of our great leader, Cesar Chavez. So thank you again for mentioning it, and also thank you for serving the people of the Rio Grande Valley and to respond to the needs of the community, the people in the colonias. This is the best way to honor him. Thank you.
Next presenter is Tiffany Solis.
Se puede.
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners,
Good morning.
constituents of Hidalgo County. My name is Tiffany Solis, and I work for Linebarger, Goggin, Blair, and Sampson, Hidalgo County's delinquent tax attorneys. Today I'm here with Chief Deputy Armando Campos, Deputy Perez, and Deputy Alessandro from Hidalgo County Precinct 2 to invite each of you to the public tax sale auction our firm is conducting on behalf of the county in an effort to recoup delinquent property taxes. Precinct 2 Constable Martin Cantu's office will assist us in administering this tax sale. We are very grateful for their participation. We've conducted these sales with Constable Cantu's office in the past, and we've been very successful. The public auction will be next week, Tuesday, April 7th at 10:30 a.m. at the County Clerk Records Management Facility located at 317 North Klausner. At this sale, there are 81 properties that have a total appraised value of over $3 million. The money from this sale will benefit all county taxing bodies, including but not limited to 15 school districts, including Edinburgh ISD, PSJA ISD, McAllen ISD, and Mission CISD. Interested buyers must register between 9:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. on the day of the sale. Only money orders and cashier's checks will be accepted. The auction will begin promptly at 10:30 a.m. I prepared a draft packet for the judge and commissioners, which includes a list of the properties up for auction. Additionally, I have a memorandum available for distribution for members of the public in attendance, which includes details of the auction and a web link to the full list of properties. This is an excellent opportunity to recover lost monies owed to the county that are used for crucial county services. We look forward to administering the tax sale and to seeing excellent results. I hope to see each of you there. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next presenter is Opal Billman.
Good morning. My name is Opal Billman. My issue is because in Hidalgo County, I was sued for divorce. During our marriage, Joe and I invested in land. Valid recorded deeds to land we bought, paid for, and for years paid the taxes on are still held undivided in the names of Joe and Opal Billman. It was determined by the court our land was excess land with no value. No action by the court divided or included our community property in a divorce settlement between the two of us, which was the only reason our community property was submitted to the court in the first place. For a divorce settlement, 15 years of future rent from our trailer park was conjectured to have the value of $650,000. The court divided the non-existent $650,000, 41% to me and 59% to Joe, and gave us 15 years to earn it. Absolute, totally transparent bait and switch fraud. Because I do not believe this settlement meets the fair and just standard required by Texas community property law or the 5th and 14th Amendments to the Constitution, I filed an appeal with the 13th Appellate Court. This is the judgment of the 13th Appellate Court, admitted by them to be in the light most favorable to the judgment of the trial court. Not the law or the Constitution, just in favor of a judge's ruling. At the top of page 2 in the appellate court's judgment, it reads, following a trial before the court, the trial judge rendered the divorce decree favoring Joe, dividing the marital estate as follows. Opal received 41% and Joe received 59% of the family business, the Twin Lakes RV Park. Opal gained a life estate in the Billman residence at the RV park, and each party received half of all other marital estate. I would like to call your attention to, and each party received half of all other marital property. That's why our community property is still owned by Joe and me. It is the all other marital property. Under the decree, appellant is to sell her interest in the RV park to Joe for $266,500.
You have 1 minute, Ms. Bill.
Receiving a down payment of $53,200 and a promissory note for $213,200, bearing interest at 10% per annum, payable in monthly installments over 15 years until paid. This settlement, confirmed by the appellate court, was never brought to completion. A different judge court-ordered Joe to give the money to a court-appointed third party. The Court of Appeals lists 3 points of error as the purpose of the appeal. First and foremost, awarding a disproportionate division because of accusations of mental illness. Second, failing to include 52 acres of land. And the third, I was ordered to sell my community property for Joe's promissory note. In other words, Joe's debt. First, to address the defamation of my character with accusations of mental illness fostered on me by the court. The court is defining political correctness, follow the leader, Simon Says, as synonyms for mental illness. No psychoanalyst or any other medical person has ever diagnosed me with mental illness, and they're not going to. People would know they were making it up. Secondly, failing to include 52 acres of community property land. The court is functioning as a holding company. The division made by the court was to divide our land from money being earned and keep our land for free. And thirdly, the court awarded Joe 59% of the non-existent $650,000 and also my 41%, and court ordered me to sell my community property to Joe for his promissory note. I have another little tiny bit here. May I just finish it? Just close it out. May I have that few seconds?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Thank you. To claim the case is pending requires continuing court actions, which can only be police-enforced false imprisonment and more trials of me. To claim the case is suspended suggests a temporary status. 18 years is nobody's temporary anything. Because Joe died, the law compels this did-nothing case be dismissed. I'm asking the court for documentation complying with the law. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Next presenter is Luis Peña.
Morning, Commissioners, Judge. What I have here is a copy of a Texas Peace Officers Accident Report involving a Sheriff's Office unmarked unit on 2/19 of 2015 at 5:19 in the morning. The report here shows that unit number 2, which was the one struck by the Sheriff's Lieutenant, was parked in the middle of the road with no lights. Therefore, the factor is being placed on unit 2. But yet, there is no description on Unit 2 because it states in the back that Unit 2, once it was struck, it left the area. Unit 1, the Sheriff's Office unit, struck Unit 2 in the rear while he was traveling west because obviously the lights were off. I believe the 2014 Expedition has headlights that you can see for a pretty good distance, not unless he fell asleep behind the wheel, or there was no vehicle in the middle of the road. What I'm thinking here, by reading this report, as a certified accident reconstruction investigator, I can tell you somebody's lying here, either the trooper or the lieutenant from the Sheriff's Office, because there's no way that Unit 2, if the accident report indicates this, Unit 2 left eastbound when he was parked westbound, that means he had time to make a U-turn. And if it was with the lights off, obviously it was disabled. So upon being struck, all of a sudden it turned on. Wow. Then it managed to make a U-turn on Roosevelt Road, which you can't make a U-turn just like that because of the wideness of the road. He probably made 2 attempts reversing the vehicle before he turned back and turned east. And yet they can't provide a description on the vehicle, but they place Unit 2 at fault. But yet the factor here should be placed on Unit 1. That's failed to control speed, that's falling asleep behind the wheel, or that's distraction in his vehicle, in his part. But since he's a Sheriff's Office higher ranking official, he's not being placed at fault. We know how it works around here. This is my issue here. I don't know what kind of investigation the Sheriff's Office conducted. It should be an internal investigation on this. And if this internal affairs investigator can't read this report, he's got no business being an internal affairs investigator. This is all I have to say now. And closing out, there was a deputy that was recently indicted. It came out on the news yesterday. And we have a commander that came out also saying that he was fired back in August. He was not fired back in August. He was asked to resign voluntarily. That is because the sheriff we have doesn't have the courage to fire anybody. Thank you very much.
Next presenter is Ramiro Trevino.
Judge, Commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing before you today It's been 1 year since the former sheriff finally left. It's been a year that we have the new person in place, and we're still having trouble dealing with all the actions left by the former sheriff. I'm referring to the recent audit report, from the county auditor, who based his report on validation of alleged actions of wrongdoing by the former sheriff. Well, the current sheriff is not allowing him to speak to the people he has to, and I take issue with that. When are we going to bring closure to all the actions, unethical, illegal, immoral, that were carried out by the former sheriff, so Hidalgo County can finally move on? I'm tired of the black cloud that is over this county as the most corrupt county in the state of Texas. I'm tired that we have elected officials and senior public servants who will not respond to messages left by people like Ramiro Trevino, but have no trouble going out in public with convicted felons who have recently become official photographers for campaigns, assistant campaign managers for local races. When is the wrongdoing going to stop? Thank you.
Next presenter is Norma Salinas.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Norma Salinas, and I'm a Lupe member, and I'm a resident of Colonia Pueblo de Palmas in Peñita, Texas. And earlier this year, I participated in a meeting in Lupe, San Juan, where some of you were present and some of others were representatives of you all. And in that meeting resulted in a pilot program that will help light up eight specific colonias in different counties, in different presence in the county of Hidalgo. And although my colonia is not going to be part of this pilot program, I really like to see this program implemented so that there is an example in place to see how it's going to function in the near future for other colonias like mine. And I'm here on behalf of all the Lupe members, and we want to know what's next. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next presenter is Melinda Moreno. Ms. Melinda Moreno. Next presenter is Maria Champion.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm here to talk about the hospital healthcare district that our elected officials are really pushing into our throats, because almost 27,000 people voted in November 14 against it. And even in November 4th, Judge Garcia said the voters already spoke, they voted no. And I hope what you said didn't end up at 12 at night like the Cinderella effect. Because now even you are proposing this, because Bobby Villarreal was in the hearing March 19. If you watch the hearings in Austin of the county committees, the county affairs committees, you can hear that there are other ways to fund, to make the initial fund to kick the Medicaid fund that's stuck in the federal section, and that is the hospitals have to pitch in, not the taxpayers. Because if the taxpayers fund the hospitals, then that's the Robin Hood effect in reverse. The poor people are going to fund for the rich people. See, that's not the Robin Hood effect. And you, sirs, are here to help the taxpayers. So please make propositions that don't increase the tax properties because we already pay a lot. Donna pays 3.25%, the Donna people. Mercedes, 3.10. Edinburgh, 2.8. That's a lot of money that you're getting, and we are not getting it in infrastructure. I've been having to go to Mission every day now because of family affairs, and to get to my house, North Edinburgh, I have to meander all over the city just to get a 4-lane road, which is only the 23rd Street from mile 3rd to 107. There are no roads. Just come at 7 o'clock on Sherry, and it's just packed with traffic, and it's just a 2-lane. It is dangerous. So all the money we're paying, we're not getting infrastructure. And what's happening? Corporations and businesses are not going to come to an expensive county with very little infrastructure. So you have to learn how to be frugal and give back to the people who pay. So we won't be having a happy lady who comes from a lawyer account, which is the Lindbergh. We are going to have a tax auction because we're getting the houses from the poor people who couldn't afford the property taxes. You are killing the home ownership with your high taxes. We cannot afford any more taxes to begin with because we don't even get the infrastructure. So simple. So now you are even increasing the price to pay for the building you want to build. Have you told your customer, your taxpayers, who are paying, who are footing the bill, have you told them who's going to own the building, who's going to rent the offices? We need transparency. We don't want to happen what happened to the electric bill, the lady who got fired, because everything was hiding, such as Geoffrey Garza, everything in here. We want transparency. Taxpayers want transparency. See? And if I have to, people in the county go to the dollar stores because they don't have money. And if I buy something that's worth $1 and it doesn't work, I return it. Can you imagine me paying $25,000 in property taxes every year? With only houses that don't even measure 1,000 square feet.
30 seconds left, ma'am.
And Encinos Escondidos back there on South 17 and a half, just the appraisal districts just increased the price, the value of the land now cost $425, the same as Lake James, who has mansions, and the 1,000 square feet, almost a dog-sized house, is going to pay $425. Unbelievable.
All right. Next item is item number 7. Mr. Guerra.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Judge, with your permission, we have Constable Gaitan in the audience. He's item 8C.
8C, Judge, and 8D.
And 8D.
Just real quick, good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Reference 8C here, Constable Precinct 4 MOU between ICE and Constable Precinct 4. The approval of memorandum of understanding between Immigration and Custom Enforcement, which is ICE, and Hidalgo County Precinct 4's office.
Move for approval.
Second. Commissioner. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. 2 is authorization to pay overtime reimbursable under the grant terms and conditions.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
3, approval to accept overtime funding from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Custom Enforcement, ICE, in the amount of $15,000.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
4, approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for ICE overtime funding.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
5, approval of appropriation of funds in the amount of $15,000. Approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank
Going down to D, A1-48862, Constable Precinct 4. Approval of 2015 appropriation of funds for the Constable Precinct 4 in the amount of $12,638.65.
Move for approval.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge Commissioners. Thank you.
Commissioners, with your permission, while we're on the constable's item, I'm going to ask the representative for Constable 1.
Abuelito.
Morning, Judge Commissioners. Sergeant Raul Lozano for Constable Celestino Avila Jr. Discussion, consideration, and approval to appoint reserve deputy constables by Constable Celestino Avila Jr., Constable Precinct 1, in accordance with the Texas Local Government Code, Section 86.012. First one is George Salazar, second one is Javier Lopez, third one is Dominic Solis, and the fourth one is Mark Leal.
Move for approval.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
And then we have Constable Precinct 2.
Commissioners, good morning. Armando Campos for Constable Martin Cantu. Item 8B, A149048. Discuss consideration and approval to appoint Hector Castillo as Reserve Deputy Constable by Constable Martin Cantu in accordance with Texas Local Government Code, Section 86.012.
Move for approval.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Commissioners, back to item 7A12, there's no action to be taken unless there's action to be taken further down the agenda. Item 7B1, 2, and 3, there is no update this week. Item 7C has already been acted on. Item 7D, I'm asking permission, there's a request for permission by CASA of Hidalgo County to use the open forum area of the courthouse for their 18th annual candlelight vigil to be held on April 1st, 2015 from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Everything is in order.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item E is I'm asking approval to accept a check from Princeton Excess and Surplus Lines Insurance Company in the amount of $8,923.04. This is reimbursement as a result of exceeding our SIR in connection with a claim of Daniel Silva.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item F, I'm requesting acceptance and approval of an application and service agreement for a permanent water meter with North Alamo Water Supply Corporation for the Hidalgo County Substance Abuse Center in Edinburgh. I ask this with authority for the county judge to execute the service agreements and applications.
Move for approval.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 9 is with the HR Department.
Good morning, Commissioners. Item 9B, Sheriff's Office. Discussion, approval, and consideration of the following personnel action effective 3/8/2015 in order to comply with the retention phase of the grant requirement. To create slot 0003, Deputy Sheriff, Step 1, at $39,140.
Move for
And-
approval.
Second.
On 1 and 2.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 9C, Precinct 2 Road Maintenance. Approval to change the funding source from Precinct 2 Road Maintenance to Planning and Engineering for the following employee. Position Engineering Tech 2, Slot A078, to propose Slot A008, and the proposed account name and number.
Move for approval.
Approval, second.
1 and 2.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Item 9D, Precinct 2, approval of the following personnel actions to delete the following positions. Delete Slot 0005, Maintenance 1 at $20,965. Delete Slot 0011, Maintenance 1 at $22,954.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And D2, to create the following position. To create Slot 0038, Maintenance 4 at $34,589.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Is that also to approve the revised salary
Yes.
schedule in accordance with Commissioners Court
Move for
action?
approval.
Second, whatever. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Under 10A for the District Attorney's Office, no action is necessary. There is a duly executed purchase order, and all invoices will be paid. There is no claim. Thank you.
Good.
Probably a good item for consent for next meeting. Number 11, HIDA Task Force.
Morning, Commissioners. HIDA Task Force, authorization and approval to accept award number G15SS0002A, supplement number 1, cooperative agreement between the Hidalgo County and the Executive Office of the President, Office of National Drug Control Policy in the amount of $550,621 for grant period from 01/01/15 to 12/31/2016.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 2, approval of certification of revenues as certified by the County Auditor's Office.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 3, approval of appropriation of funds for the Hidalgo County HIDA Task Force in the amount of $550,621.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 4, approval of salary redistribution of funds as per Exhibit A, effective April 6, 2015.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Approval to revise the salary schedule in accordance with Commissioners' Court action.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
12, County Clerk's Office.
Item 12, I will present for the County Clerk's Office, requesting approval of the 2015 elected officials' corrected bonds. Everything is in order at this point, and for the record, the bonds are for Judge Ramon Garcia, Sheriff Eduardo Guerra, Commissioner Eduardo Cantu, Judge Rodolfo Gonzalez, Judge Jaime J. Palacios, Judge Fred Garza, Judge Arnoldo Cantu, Judge Albert Garcia, and Judge Enrique Omar Maldonado.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. 13, Sheriff's Office.
Thank you.
B.
Hello, Commissioners. Richard Ozuna, Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office, on behalf of our Sheriff Eddie Guerra. Under item 13A, the first one is just the approval, certification of revenues as certified by our county auditor for the 2015 Leo's allocation payment of $41,750.14 received from the State Comptroller of Public Accounts.
Move for approval.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under item number 2 is approval of the budget amendment to appropriate the 2015 Leo's allocation in the amount of $41,750.14 and interest earned in the 2014 in the amount of 58 cents for a total amount of $41,750.72.
Move for approval.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under item B is presentation discussion of the 2014 racial profiling report as presented by the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office in the packets that I issued out to y'all in accordance with Article 2.133 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. If y'all have any questions.
Move for approval.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item C is under the Sheriff's Office, ICE, overtime 1284. Under number 1 is the approval of memorandum of understanding between the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, and the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under number 2 is authorization to pay the overtime reimbursable under the grant terms and conditions.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Number 3 is approval to accept the overtime funding from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, in the amount of $15,000.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Number 4 is the approval of certification of revenues as certified by the county auditor for the ICE overtime funding.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And closing of item C is number 5, the approval of appropriation of funds in the amount total of $15,000.
Move for approval. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Last item, numbers D, is approval of the revised MOU agreement. There was a minor modification between the healthwebce.com LLC and the Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office. The prior agreement was approved on 2/4/15 under item 48306, which has been viewed by our attorneys.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under item 2 is you approve the authorization for the county judge as authorized official to sign the agreement, the MOU.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 14, Health and Human Service Department, Eddie Olivares.
Good morning, Commissioners. Eddie Olivares, Hidalgo County Health Human Service. Item 14A, I'm requesting approval to accept the Medicaid Administrative Claiming Contract Amendment number 529-12-0045-0002A. The purpose of the amendment is to implement a termination date, the agreement of the termination date to the agreement of August 31st, 2019, to incorporate the agreement in the most recent version of the Health and Human Services Commission Data Use Agreement, and that is version 1.4.1 of the HHSC Uniform Contract Terms. Conditions to include a requirement that performing party comply with single audit requirements and extend the applications or the
Move for approval.
Got a motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And then item 2 is requesting approval for the county judge to sign an amendment and related documents to this.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion
Sir,
carries.
on this one, again, this is a revolving data use agreement. I'd like to acknowledge the Executive Office and Roy Quintanilla and his department, Rene Ramirez and Josie Ramirez, because this is a very complicated issue, so it's all working out well. Item 14B is requesting approval to accept the Preparedness and Prevention Community Preparedness Section Grant Contract Number 2015-047253-001A. The purpose of this amendment is to increase the award amount to $9,287 to a total amount of $137,224. Amendment is effective 3/31/2015.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 2 is requesting approval of the certification of revenue as approved by county auditor in the amount of $9,287.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 3 is requesting approval of the budget appropriations in the amount of $9,287 in grant funds and $930 in local match funds.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item C, sir, is requesting approval for Mr. Olivares from Hidalgo County Health and Human Services Department Chief Administrative Officer to submit a letter of intent to the Texas Department of State Health Services. The letter acknowledges Hidalgo County Health and Human Services Department interest to provide tuberculosis prevention and control services within its service area and to meet eligibility criteria for fiscal year 2016 through 2017.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under item D, Health Care Funding District, there is no items unless you have any questions. And item E, an Indian Health Care Program, there is no items unless there's any questions. Thank you very
sir.
much.
Good
Number
morning,
15, Emergency Management.
Good morning, Commissioners. Belinda Alvarez for Ricardo Saldana. Presentation, discussion, and authorization to submit the direct deposit authorization and designation of applicants' agents forms for the Hazard Mitigation Grant, Texas Safe Shelter Initiative DR-1791-331, and Plan Grant DR-199-022 for the purpose of updating records for the Texas Division of Emergency Management with the authority for the county judge to sign the required documents.
Move for approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 16, Urban County, Diana Serna.
Diana Serna.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Our first item on the agenda is presentation and approval of a proclamation declaring April 6th through the 11th of 2015 as CDBG Week. I also have the proclamation to read, if I may.
Yes.
National Community Development Week. Whereas the week of April 6th through the 11th of 2015 has been designated as National Community Development Week by the National Community Development Association to celebrate the Community Development Block Grant CDBG program and the Home Investment Partnership Home Program. And whereas the CDBG program provides annual funding and flexibility to local communities to provide decent, safe, and sanitary housing, a suitable living environment, and economic opportunities to low and moderate income people. And whereas the Home Investment Partnership Program provides funding to local communities to create decent, safe, affordable housing opportunities for low and moderate income persons, and over 1 million units of affordable housing completed to date using home funds. And whereas over the inception of the Urban County Program, the County of Hidalgo has received a total of $220,085,764 in CDBG funds and over $51,077,568 in home funds. And whereas the county, through its 18 participating cities and 4 precincts, have expensed their funding on high-priority activities such as street, park, drainage, water, and sewer improvements, installation of solar lighting, and funding numerous nonprofit organizations providing a service to low and moderate income residents. And now therefore be it resolved that the County of Hidalgo designates the week of April 6th through the 11th of 2015 as National Community Development Week in support of these 2 valuable programs that have made tremendous contributions to the viability of the housing stock, infrastructure, public services, and economic viability of our communities. Be it further resolved that this community urges Congress and the administration to recognize the outstanding work done locally and nationally by the Community Development Block Grant Program and the Home Investment Partnerships Program by supporting increased funding for both programs in fiscal year 2016. Approved this 31st day of March 2015.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you for allowing me to read that resolution. What I wanted to make sure is that we all at the county acknowledge that over $220 million has been received by the County of Hidalgo, and because of that money, a lot of our communities have been improved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you. Our next item, if I may, Judge, is the approval of a proclamation declaring April 15, 2015 as Fair Housing Month. This is our annual proclamation that we always ask the court to approve, and we are asking for that again this year.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item C is a request on behalf of the City of Palmview requesting approval of Amendment Number 1 to the engineering contract with Sames Incorporated. The amendment will increase the amount of the original contract by $9,800. The new contract amount will be $49,295, utilizing CDBG funding from the street improvement line item. This is a requirement. We were required to do this amendment because TxDOT requested that we realign the road, and in order to make sure that we were in compliance with TxDOT requirements, we are recommending approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Our next item is on behalf of the City of Mercedes, requesting authority to purchase fire station equipment, which consists of 8 Motorola pagers for the Mercedes Fire Department from Tri-City Communications LTD, contract number 432-13, and approved vendor through Hidalgo County's membership and participation with Buy Board. The amount of this purchase is $3,999.80.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 16E is also on behalf of the City of Mercedes, requesting authority to purchase additional fire station equipment, which is the dual-band base stations and dual-band radios for the Mercedes Fire Department. Purchase will be made from Motorola Contract R805-12, and approved vendor through Hidalgo County's membership and participation with HGAC. Total amount of the purchase is $17,202.06.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
16F, also on behalf of the City of Mercedes, requesting authority to purchase recreational equipment for the Mercedes Recreational Center. Purchase will be made from the Playwall Group, contract number 423-13, and approved vendor through Hidalgo County's membership and participation with the Buy Board. Total amount of this purchase is $49,617.63.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The City of Weslaco is requesting consideration and action to award and enter into a construction contract with Science Brothers Construction, LLC, for the replacement of water and sewer lines in the amount of $437,393, utilizing their year 2013 and 2014 funding.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 16H is requesting exemption from competitive bidding requirements under the Texas Local Government Code 262.024A4 for professional engineering services.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 2 is a presentation of the scoring grid. I would like to read for the record that this is for engineering services and not appraisal services as indicated on your agenda. This will be for the presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court of at least 3 engineering service firms from the county's approved pool as graded and evaluated by Precinct 1, Hidalgo County Purchasing Department, and a member of the Urban County Program for this General Land Office contract for the Delta Area Connector, East Lateral.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
The highest ranked firm was Lefevre Engineering with 94, Javier Hinojosa with 82.33, Ari Garcia with 81. And I'm reading that for the record since I would presume that you
Move for approval.
approved it. Thank you.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 3 is authority to negotiate a professional service contract with the number 1 ranked firm of Lefevre Engineering.
So
Move for-
moved.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you. 16I is on behalf of the City of Westlaco requesting approval for the purchase and installation of a circulation desk for the Mayor Jovi Sanchez Public Library from Adept Facilities and Design. Total amount of this purchase would be $11,048.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Urban County Program is requesting approval of an amendment to a professional service engineering contract with Quintanilla Headley and Associates. The amendment will increase the contract amount by $8,000. This was due to additional scope of services for the Delta Area Connector.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And our final item is the approval of an interlocal cooperation agreement between the County of Hidalgo and the Hidalgo County Drainage District Number 1 in relation to the Tijerina Rural Drainage Development Project, partially being funded by the General Land Office.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next item is item 18, planning.
TJ.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, Judge Commissioners. TJ Arredondo with the Planning Department. The County Advisory Board convened on March 17, 2015, and recommended approval for the following subdivisions. Preliminary approval, Quad Ranches, preliminary approval with the variance request, Quad Ranches subdivision. It's an 8-lot subdivision in Precinct 1.
Move for
Triple
approval.
G subdivision, a 2-lot subdivision in Precinct 4. I guess I'll just read them all out, if you don't mind.
Okay, go ahead.
And preliminary approval for David Garza subdivision, it's a 1-lot subdivision in Precinct 3. Huizaches Acres subdivision, 11, a 25-lot subdivision in Precinct 4. Final approval, Acres of Santa Cruz, Phase 2B, it's a 20-lot subdivision in Precinct 3. La Jolla ISD Elementary Number 22, it's a 1-lot subdivision in Precinct 3. La Jolla ISD Number 7, it's a 1-lot subdivision in Precinct 3. Final approval with a financial guarantee. Ranchitos Escondidos Phase 1A, it's a 36-lot subdivision in Precinct 4. And finally, final approval, La Villita Ranches Phase 1, it's an 18-lot residential subdivision in Precinct 1. We're recommending approval for all subdivisions.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 19B.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Lozano.
Item B is requesting authorization for survey, meets and bounds, title reports, title policies, appraisals, review appraisals, and acquisition of additional right-of-way for the mile 17.5 bridge replacement project. Contract number CSJ 0921-02-290. This is a TxDOT project for the bridge replacement of mile 17 and a half.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Item 21A, Precinct 3.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. 21A,
Morning, sir.
appointment of board member to Tropical Texas Behavioral Health, MHMR. You have the name, Commissioner?
I gave it to you a while ago. Karina?
Okay. That's the one, Judge.
Ms. Karina.
He forgets.
Motion to
Move for approval.
La enfermedad, pobre Mingo chiquito.
What was the name again, Mingo?
The Commissioner.
Say it again, Mingo.
I did not hear you.
That's
She's the ex-county employee that used to work for
Right.
the county judge.
Karina Cardoso.
Karina Cardoso.
Karina Cardoso.
Okay, item B.
Hold on, I need a second.
Okay.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B, Judge, requesting approval of interlocal agreement between Hidalgo County and the City of Alton.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And item number 2, in accordance with Section 791.014 of the Texas Government Code, requesting approval of a proposed project, county and city desires to assist each other in projects to be defined by mutual agreement through an interlocal agreement, agreeing to assist each other with equipment, material, and manpower.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Item 23, budget.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners, Sergio Cruz, Department of Budget Management. Item 23A is approval to submit IRS Form 2848, designating Steve Crane as Hidalgo County's authorized representative with the authorization for the county judge to sign the required documents. Judge, Commissioners, this is in regards to a matter I'm trying to resolve with the IRS regarding a foreign investment in real property tax act. However, due to the limited authority that I have, I'm requesting the court to be able to grant Mr. Crane authorization for power of attorney so that we can resolve this matter with the IRS.
Motion to approve. Second.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 23B1 is approval of 2015 appropriation of funds for the Justice Court Technology Fund in the amount of $2,860.22.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 23B2 is approval of 2015 appropriation of funds from the Road and Bridge unreserved fund balance for the Planning and Engineering Department in the amount of $223,992.95. This is to fund changes in funding source from various positions that were previously approved by the Commissioners Court.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And finally, item 23B4 is approval of 2015 appropriation of funds from the Road and Bridge unreserved fund balance for Precinct 2 Road Maintenance Program and the Precinct 2 Administration Program in the amount of $343,237.76.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners.
Item 24, purchasing.
24A1, requesting approval of change order 8 in connection with repairs and renovations to the second floor of former administration building in the amount of $76,940.
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And it also is an extension of time as posted, yes.
This is, are we going to meet our present deadline?
The new deadline is May 21st. I believe they are on track. On item B is presentation of the scoring grid for the purposes of ranking by Commissioners Court the responses received in connection with the request for proposals for professional, oh, I'm sorry, 2A, I skipped it. Notice and action on rate increase to Hidalgo County's current energy provider, from Hidalgo County's current energy provider, Reliant, as permitted under the agreement from .11678 to the new rate of .12353, effective this month, March.
Move for approval.
Why are we doing that?
This is something imposed on all jurisdictions. This is a new increase granted from
But
the
the
state.
market's supposed to be about 6 cents.
Well, but you're not talking about all the pass-through. We have a bundled rate of .11, but the state has now imposed a new pass-through tax that increases now. Everyone's been given notice to now the .12353.
We don't
And
have
it
a
was
choice,
reviewed by
basically.
legal counsel. It is something that the GLO is a pass-through that will go to their awarded vendor, which is Reliant for us.
We don't have a choice, right?
We don't have a choice, no, sir.
Okay.
We can't refuse it.
Our choice?
Now, this will be through November, because that's when this current agreement expires.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Presentation of the scoring grid, as I said, for the RFP Professional Energy Consultants. We had, as you can tell, 6 responses. I do need to take, in order to rate one of them as the third, does the court wish to enter at least the highest graded one as number 1, which is Texas Energy Consultants at 95.2?
Move for approval.
And then, can I just name them first? And then it would be Marco A. Arredondo as number 2 at 92.8. Then we have 91, Choice Energy at 3 at 92. And it's for positions 3 and 4. Oh, then,
we did.
I'm sorry, yes, from ProStar Energy and Amerix
Marty,
Energy
do you know
Services.
who was involved in the committee to rank them?
It was the administrative assistants of each one of the members of the court.
Did we give it to actually the lowest bidder here?
Did we what?
Are you looking for the lowest price, right?
No, here is just a
no, these are the
consultant to
consultants.
enter into negotiations.
Yes, I know, but I mean, what's the difference in prices?
No, the price, they will be paid by the energy provider that they eventually contract with. Their fees will be paid
I
by
think
the
in this
energy
one, we
provider.
looked for the qualifications.
Yes, but I mean, did we even look at them? I know we,
I thought, I
This is
really,
a consultant only. This is not for energy already.
which is a company that does the work for the Dallas Cowboys.
ProStar Energy.
Yeah, they ProStar, and we ranked them number 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, they're tied with Amerix Energy Services. That's why you're trying to get that'll be number 4 and number 5 respectively. I've got the 2 names right here. These were the scores provided to us by the graders, based on their submission of their proposals.
Yeah, because I don't know who did because I know I recommended ProStar. It doesn't matter. I mean,
Yeah.
go ahead.
I
I mean,
need
we do
the-
the right thing.
I'll make a motion to approve the highest.
Yeah.
Between ProStar and Texas.
ProStar Energy is number 4.
Number 4, which leaves us with,
5 would be then,
which is Amerix Energy, I have it right here, and then 6 would be Acclaim Energy Services. So I need that approved.
Number 1 is Texas Energy.
Energy Consultants. Number
And
2
who
is,
are these people?
I don't know them, Judge.
That's what I mean. Who are they?
I don't know where they're from. Their information can be sent to you. Your administrative assistants didn't brief you on the,
No, well, I'm
Maybe they're
looking
here
at
in the
mine.
audience.
I'm looking at mine. I
Maybe
mean,
they're here in the
there in the
audience.
pardon me?
Maybe they're here in the audience.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't.
Now I know that. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the company?
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Robert Pena with Texas Energy Consultants. My business, we have been in existence since early 2002, early in the deregulation of the markets. Our company actually has 2 divisions. One is a retail energy division, one is a wholesale division, and we also develop wholesale power, renewable energy. In the retail division, we have provided services for numerous clients in Hidalgo County and throughout South Texas, all the way up to Houston. We have a lot of business clients, and we do have some governmental clients as well. Our consulting services would be to provide the retail energy for the county in this aspect.
Okay. Any other questions, or? If not, do we rank them in the way in which they've been?
Move for approval.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 3 is requesting authority for purchasing to commence negotiations with the #1 ranked firm of Texas Energy Consultants to effect a contract
Move
for
for
this
approval.
service.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item 3 is a presentation on the final report by HOK, contracted architectural firm, for the review and analysis of the current schematic designs by ERO for a new Hidalgo County Courthouse for acceptance and approval of said report. Gentlemen.
I hit F5. I'll do it again. Maybe hit the mouse and move the mouse to the PowerPoint. Thank you.
You got it? Yeah, Judge, when would you like us to start?
All right, sir, good morning.
Good morning, Judge.
We ready to proceed if you are?
All right, great. Thanks very much. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Judge, and the Commissioners Court, and also the people of Hidalgo County for agreeing to let us bring our services here to you in Hidalgo County. It's been an interesting process. It's one that's been fairly unique. Judge Garcia had some unique insight, and I'd like to say to everybody that he's actually been a very good steward and a protector of the tax revenue collected from the Hidalgo County's residents and what he's done with this court design process. It's most common for counties to select a design firm and then have that design firm start and complete all major sections of the design phases for a project. However, Judge Garcia's plan was to stop and evaluate the county's financial exposure at the end of a phase called schematic design. Normally, all the design phases continue. At the end of your master plan, the estimate for Hidalgo County Courthouse was approximately $112,973,000. That was the estimate of what it would take for the project. Schematic design moved forward, and the price estimate had gone up to $176,690,250, and then the judge saw it was time for him to put his plan into gear. The judge's plan was supported by the Commissioners Court to take a look at what can be done to be a good steward of the county's money and look after the taxpayers, the money, the taxes have been collected. The county held a national search and a competition and ultimately selected our firm, HOK Architecture, the nation and Texas and the state of Texas premier justice design firm, and we specialize in both courthouse and jail designs. Right now, HOK currently, we're working on 4 Texas courthouse projects for Tarrant County, Travis County, Potter County, which is in Amarillo, and Hidalgo County. In evaluating and reviewing things, the initial estimate here of schematic design was about $176 million. We found there's some other costs that also had not quite been included in the project, and the overall project cost actually is over $200 million. We've looked at this, and what we're going to show you today is how your price tag of your county courthouse can be bought under $150 million and save the taxpayers a little bit over $50 million in the process. So I'd have to say that Judge Garcia's plan, with the support of the Commissioners Court, has worked, and it's worked well for the citizens of Hidalgo County. Yeah, this particular project will actually be the largest and most significant building project in the history of Hidalgo County. We have some things to show you here today, and we respectfully ask for your time and attention to this important topic. It's the responsibility and role of the architect that you hire to assure that a project stays in line and on track. It's also the architect's responsibility to keep costs under control and keep the project on schedule. A courthouse is not your normal building. It's not an office building, it's not a school, nor is it a commercial building. It's a very complex and challenging building. What you do here is unique. You bring three separate parties, which would be the judges and key staff, the public, and inmates, into three separate areas of circulation into that building, all meet in the same place, which is the courtroom, without ever crossing paths or ever overlapping. It's an emotional building. It's a very stressful environment, and it's important that that's done right. One of the things that we'd like to tell you also is that our firm, HOK Architecture, has done over 2,500 courtrooms. We've designed over 18 million square feet of judicial services facilities. And today we're going to show you how we can save Hidalgo County over $50 million from the current projected project costs that are tied to your current design. Using the schematic design firm ERO's figure of it costing Hidalgo County $25,000 per day for every day that you wait, the county hired us for just $40,000, and that we consider that a pretty good trade-off in management of funds, because we're going to show you how to save $50,000 with just $50 million in just 8 weeks of our time. My name's Jeff Bradley. I'm the co-director of HOK's Justice Design Division. Next to me is Kurt Pardee. He's the director of architecture for HOK's Dallas office and also the regional justice practice leader for the Justice Division in this part of the country. Additionally, he couldn't be here today, but he also worked on this project as Bob Schwartz. He's a senior courthouse designer. Bob is also the co-author of the National Commission on State Courts Manual for Courtroom and Courthouse Design Guide. Along with that, we had several other courthouse experts work with us through this entire process.
Okay, so we're going to start just by briefly telling you, what we were hired to do for the county. So, here are the list of things, our scope of work. Review the schematic design package, which really means, evaluating the floor plans, the layout of the building, and see how it's going to work functionally for you. Review the square footage and uses of the building to make sure everyone and all the departments have appropriate spaces in the building. Review the project costs, which Jeff alluded to a few seconds ago, both construction costs and total project costs, so you have a clear direction moving forward as to what your project's going to what budget you need for your project. We met with department heads, talked with everybody, gets their input on the spaces in the building, and if they felt that they were in agreement with the direction of the project. And then, of course, report our findings to you and make some recommendations on moving forward. So that's what we're here to do today. We've completed our study and moving forward. So we wanted to talk a little bit about similar project experience.
Yes. Yeah, the project that you're doing here is a very significant project. I already mentioned it's going to be the largest building project in the history of Hidalgo County. It's a building that's supposed to last from anywhere from 50 to 100 years. Right now, our firm, we have these active projects going on around the nation. If you look at the top right side, that's a list of projects we're doing just alone in Texas that Kurt and I are directly involved in. And then also these particular ones from all corners of the country. They also represent all different sizes of courthouse projects. Right now, we're doing the Travis County New Civil and Family Courthouse. We're doing the front-end schematic design on that. It's about 500,000 square feet. Very significant project, somewhat similar to yours in the fact it's going right downtown in an urban setting in a very challenging environment. and we're on track with that, and they're very happy with it. We're just completing the Tarrant County's new civil courthouse. That one takes them to Tire Square City Block. Again, they were very happy with this project, and they just hired us to do the new master plan for the criminal courts building. Some other significant projects around the country that we're working on. This is Miami-Dade Children's Courthouse. It's set to open coming up here in the next month or two. This is the Denver Federal Courthouse. It's set the standard for sustainability, which is energy cost savings for courthouse and courthouse design. This here is a Kent County Courthouse in Michigan. You see some of the similarities here. They're tall, narrow buildings that are in urban settings downtown and somewhat in the very center of the cities that they're located in. This is Wake County Courthouse. It just opened up last year. That's in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is Scott Matheson Federal Courthouse in Salt Lake City, Utah. And here, this is the U.S. Federal Courthouse in Miami. It's got somewhat of a Miami look to it, I think, but it's a very large and substantial building. York County Judicial Center in Pennsylvania. The Phoenix Municipal Courthouse in Phoenix, Arizona. And the Samuel Gibbons Courthouse in Broward County, Florida. As you can see, the size and scope of these buildings are very large. They're sophisticated, they're complex, but I want to reiterate that we just don't do buildings here in Texas. We haven't done them for just one or two counties. We're doing them for counties all over the United States.
Thank you. So next we're going to talk a little bit about inmate movement and detention and how it was laid out in this project for you. First thing we're talking about here is the vehicle sally port, and that dotted red area that you see there on the screen. It's the sally port, and so that's where inmates are brought to the facility. And you know, our charge here was to evaluate, you know, the schematic design against the program, and kind of, you know, compare spaces that were designed and, you know, what is needed. So here, the space program had 1,500 square feet for the vehicle sally port. The drawing was sized at 8,500 square feet. And so, you know, this is one thing that it was bigger, and of course that makes it more expensive to incorporate into the building. So just, you know, something, these are items that we're going to be discussing. The holding area, the inmate movement and holding area on level 1, which is the central holding area, has space for 223 inmates. And, you know, for a courthouse this size, you know, Bob Schwartz, our courthouse expert, who's done courts across the country, you know, just said he's never really seen one like this that had such a large holding area, an open waiting area for inmates. And so, you know, as the project moves forward, this is definitely something that you need to evaluate, work with the Sheriff's Department, and see if that's what you want to do here. As you look throughout the building, not only the central holding area, but also on the court floors, there's also significant holding spaces on each of the court floors at each of the courtrooms, and in fact enough for 312 inmates. So, you know, when you start to look at the big picture, the capacity of inmate holding in the building is really large at 535 inmates. You know, considering that currently approximately 200 inmates per day come to the court building. So, you know, that's a lot less than what's designed. You know, a lot of times we work with entities and counties and figure out how can you reduce cost as you're designing a building like this, because inmate holding areas are very expensive. And you know, if you split up when you bring inmates to the building, if you come in cycles instead of all at one time, it's a way to help reduce the cost of this. This shows the inmate movement and detention area on the court floors. This is just a snippet of one of the floor plans. So we have two of the courtrooms, and we have the holding space between the courtrooms. And again, just looking at all the courtrooms in the building and the large amount of court holding space on the floor, in addition to the large central holding area down on the main level, you know, there's really a lot of court holding space in this building. And another thing, I guess what I'm showing here is the program, the space a space program is a list of all the spaces you have in your building. And so when you first start a schematic design process, actually before then, you develop a space list, which we then call a program. And that's what you use to take off to the next phase of your project. So as you move into schematic design, you need to follow the amounts of space that are shown in your program. Here we have an example. The program shows one single holding court cell per floor. The drawings then have a single cell and a group holding cell for each court. So, you know, it's an example of where scope has creeped into the project. There are many different types of courtrooms, and they don't all need large holding areas as well. So, you know, it's not something a lot of people are familiar with, but it's an example of where you certainly can cut back and make the building more affordable for you. Another thing we looked at was the inmate elevators in the building that is proposed. There's one inmate elevator for each courtroom. That's twice what we normally see. Usually you see one per pair of courtrooms. So again, it's a way to reduce cost and be more efficient, not only now in initial construction, but if you have fewer elevators to operate down the road, there's a lot less cost operationally to be able to do that. Also, one thing I didn't mention is we did talk with the judges about, you know, the court holding on the court floors, and they really seemed open to addressing this issue and helping to, you know, reduce space, reduce inmate holding, and thus reduce cost in the building. So I think that's important to note as the project moves forward. Next, looking at improvements on the courtroom floors. This is the current court floor, standard court floor for the building. You know, over at the right there, a few of the spaces that are larger than we would normally see for a court building, the lobby spaces in front of each of the courtrooms. A part of this is due to just the overall layout of the building. There's a lot of space in front of the courtrooms, and you know, it makes that lobby area really large, which equates to square footage, which again is additional cost. The inmate holding areas we just talked about. The courtrooms, we'll go into a little bit more detail in the next slide or two. They're larger than what we would probably see for most of the courtrooms in the courthouse. Again, there are instances where you need larger courtrooms, and you know, so you know, we can talk with the judicial and see if that's an opportunity. You know, add a couple of those larger courtrooms, but you certainly don't need all 24 to be that large. The atrium, you know, there's another way, a different way, a more efficient way to bring natural light into a building than via an 8-story atrium. And then some of the corridors are wider than we typically would see. So these are all areas that, as the project moves forward, can be looked at to help reduce the square footage and cost of the building. When you look at floor plan efficiency or inefficiency and what that does to the cost of your building, here's just some very simple examples. You know, the floor plans on the left are showing courts per floor of 4 courts per floor. Now, we've done many courthouses across the country, and at 4 courts per floor, we're typically averaging around 38,000 square feet per floor. Over on the right is your current schematic design courtroom floor plate, and it also has 4 courts per floor, and it's approximately 43,400 square feet per floor. So, you know, when you multiply that by all the floors in the building, you really add up a lot of additional square footage, which again is costly. So, you know, if you were to develop a schematic design that is closer to the efficiency that we normally see on court floor layouts, you know, you could see a savings there of, you know, over $11 million for the project, which is significant. Here's an example of an alternative that, you know, we have used in the past. It's 6 courts per floor. It's interesting when you look at this. It's you know, actually within the same footprint, or even a little bit less of the floor plan on the bottom, which is your current schematic design floor plan. So you can see when you really start evaluating, you know, the spaces, the holding areas, the court rooms themselves, the lobby spaces. That's where you can begin to pick up efficiencies for the building, and it really helps you to reduce the overall square footage, which we all know equates to cost. It's always interesting when you start talking about lobby areas in front of courtrooms. Everyone's concerned, and having been in your courthouse, you have a lot of public coming to that building a lot of the time. And right now it's very condensed out there, but that's because your courtrooms themselves are very small. So there's really no space for anyone to sit inside the courtroom. In a new courthouse, you're going to have larger courtrooms anyway. The smallest courtroom we would build would probably be a 1,900 square foot courtroom, which would have space for 80 spectators in that space. So you're going to get all those people that are currently in those corridors outside the courtrooms in the courtrooms, and that's going to help you. And so you don't need these enormous lobby spaces outside. You still need space for people to spill out into, but it's really a great way to look at how to condense and save square footage. So looking at the courtrooms and the sizes of them, just looking at the numbers, the master plan showed 1,900 square feet for each courtroom. The drawing here, which is taken from your schematic design package, is 2,200 square feet. And then as we worked with ERO and tried to understand, where the actual square footage for the building was at, the revised program shows 2,400 square feet per courtroom. So, there's some different sizes here, and certainly as they talked with the judicial, they got input that the courtrooms needed to be larger, and they needed to have large amounts of spectators in each of the courtrooms. The 2,400 square foot courtroom is really large, and it would be excessive for all courtrooms in the building like this. So, our recommendation is to reduce that size. You don't need 100 spectators in all those courtrooms. If you had a couple, 2 or 3 larger courtrooms, it's a great way to take those larger courtrooms and utilize them for the cases that need them, that need all those people in them. So, but they don't all need to be that size. So, again, a great way to save on square footage. In looking at courthouse alternatives, so we wanted to see, how a six court per floor building would fit on the site, and of course it's going to fit. It's a smaller footprint than your current courthouse solution is. So, here's an alternative that saves space and would save construction cost, and of course would save operational cost, being a smaller building per square foot, and more efficient to operate. So here we have a 6-story building at 6 courts per floor, and it's the smaller footprint than the current design, and you can see it still fits within the basic area that your current schematic design sits in. And then looking at the future, you always want to know, how are you going to expand your courthouse in the future? This is very important because you're a growing county. You're adding a lot of population. And so having an expansion plan in place, really the time to do that is during the master planning phase and the schematic design phase. Once you're past that, it's difficult to really establish where those spaces are going to go. So here we're showing an additional bank of 2 courtrooms. It could go 6 stories high over on the west end of the site. And so that's where your expansion for this particular courthouse solution would be located. And so they're very important as you move forward. Atriums are we all know, an expensive proposition, when you incorporate them into a building. They can make a building very nice in terms of natural light, and they can be a kind of a centralizing element in the building. But oftentimes for counties, they become very operationally expensive because you have to heat and cool that space. You have to watch people, you have to be careful around, who's around the atrium. Courtrooms, as Jeff mentioned, are very volatile, especially in a civil courthouse, which this courthouse will contain that. So, people have difficult issues they're dealing with, and so the last thing you want is someone running out of a courtroom and things happen. So we don't typically like to see large, huge atriums in courthouses. Not to say we've not ever done them, but if you're in a situation where you're trying to save money and be more cost efficient, maybe it's something you want to look at removing. And I think that'd be a great way to help reduce cost on the project. An additional way to get daylight into courtrooms, the pictorial at the bottom of the page here shows instead of an atrium, you can bounce light, you can take the sunlight in through a clear story window that's above the courtroom vestibules at the back of the courtroom, and that's how you get natural light into the courtroom instead of an atrium. So you're not using a lot of additional space, you're using no additional space, and you're getting all that sunlight into the courtroom. Here's some examples of what that might look like, and here's an actual completed building that we did that shows how the natural light was brought across that public corridor. The public corridor outside this courtroom is this picture over on the right, and you can see it's a wall of windows, and then there's a dark space over here towards the back of this photo that is where the sunlight actually gets into this courtroom, and you can see it really provides a nice natural light, nice setting for the courtroom, and again, it's a great alternative to an atrium in a court building. Vertical transportation and parking, touched on this a minute ago, but if the current design has a inmate elevator for each courtroom and a judicial elevator for each courtroom. So there are a large number of elevators in the back of the house here. It's always important to provide, we usually provide one inmate elevator for a pair of courtrooms. So, there's a great way here, an opportunity to reduce the number of elevators and again, help you reduce operational cost and construction cost in the beginning. So, this shows how that would impact the project cost. Also, escalators. Escalators are costly to install, and they can be a operational nightmare if you don't maintain them properly. So in county court buildings, we do put them in, but we don't typically see them 6 stories high. In your schematic design package, the courtrooms or the escalators are shown to go 6 floors high. So this would be another area we're saying, reduce that because you don't really need to go that high. There are areas of the courthouse that you want to get a lot of public interaction to. So you want to keep them, if you're going to have them, keep them at the lower floors. The clerk's offices, maybe a couple of the high volume courtrooms. But you can really significantly reduce the escalators here. Have you ever been in a department store or any building that has 6 levels of escalators? There aren't a lot of them around. So I think that's one place, again, that you could really reduce cost, both in the front end and then also operationally as the building is operated. There are a couple areas, as we looked at the space program and the floor plans, and as we talked with people, there were a couple of areas that were not included in the plans. The grand jury room was one that it was not included in the drawings or the space program, and so was not included in your cost estimate. So as the project moves forward, this is something you need to incorporate, and we talked with the district attorney's office and the judges, and they all felt this was a very important thing to have in your new courthouse. The probation, the adult probation department, there is space in the program for a small amount of space for them to have in this courthouse building. We didn't see that anywhere on the drawings or in the floor plans. It's about 3,400 to 3,500 square feet. So that's something that, as you move forward, again, needs to be incorporated into the project. So improvements, design modifications, these are just some other things as we move through the project. The county clerk is currently on your 2nd floor. County clerks historically like to be on the 1st floor. A county clerk is a space where just a ton of public goes to. There's a lot of public interaction with the county clerk. So putting them on the lowest floor is going to be the best location in terms of people coming and going from the building, not having to get on that vertical circulation. Because if you don't have to get on vertical circulation, save that for the courts and things like that. So that would be our recommendation. We talked with the clerk about it, and they were very interested in moving to the 1st floor instead of being on the 2nd floor. Up on the 10th floor, which is where the appeals court, now I forgot to put this on the previous slide, there actually was not a space list for the appeals courtroom, so it was added later on in the process. And so it ended up here on the 10th floor. An appellate courtroom often has a lot of offices associated with it, and that's why you see here there's a number of offices. They're all in the blue color there. The problem here is here on the 10th floor, the offices that I've circled are actually the area that is the mechanical room space on all the floors below. So, what happens here to the mechanical rooms in the building. And it's very important on a multi-story building like this, a 10-story building, that the mechanical rooms and spaces all be stacked because you have vertical shafts, you have all kinds of plumbing and things, electrical, that need to go up and down throughout the building. So, that'd be something that needs to be looked at. It also reduces the amount of future growth space, which the brown area there is actually what your future growth area here would be on this floor. Cost history. So this is the looking at a couple of the numbers. The $112 million is what the number was at the end of the master plan. That was in the master plan book that we were given to review. And then the approved schematic design that was developed for you in June of 2014. The project cost, the total project cost was shown at $176 million, a little bit over that. So those are some starting numbers as we're kind of going through a few of the next slides here. So when we looked at what all needs to be included in the project, and from a schematic design process, what you want to know is, at that point, in addition to the building planning that has to go on, and do you have everyone in the building that needs to be in it, how's it going to function and operate, what are the other costs, the costs that are not associated with the building. So we have a site infrastructure cost, and that's been pegged at $8.5 million. We have the existing courthouse demolition, depending on how the building, what happens to that building and how the project wants to move forward. So there would be that cost. And then there would be off-site surface parking costs. Now, there's been discussion of having help with that from the city, I believe. And also, I think the city talked about helping with site infrastructure costs. But it's really important to show what these numbers are going to be so there are no surprises as the project moves into the next phase. If you go into design development and all of a sudden, someone's going, well, what about these $15 million of items here in site infrastructure, courthouse demolition, and off-surface parking? Well, someone's got to pay for it. And you need it for the building to be compatible, to be usable. So they're very important things to incorporate into your total project cost. Also, escalation. As you look at the project as it moves forward and as it's delayed, you continue to have escalation costs that are going to impact you. As the economy, there's a lot of construction in Texas right now and in this area as well. And so you can see we're adding escalation as you go along the way. And with all of that, your total project cost currently is over $200 million. So that's a far cry from where you were back at the master planning phase. And so it's just important to realize that so that you can budget for it as you move forward. The item asterisk at the bottom is $4.5 million. I think since the project schematic design was submitted in June, you've again been on hold since then, so you've accrued that additional cost as well. So things to keep in mind as you're making decisions and moving forward. The longer you wait to make these decisions, the more it's going to cost the county.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were third.
I'm getting close. You want to? So, okay, this slide shows when the project is redesigned. To the 6-court per floor solution that we're recommending, the estimated construction cost will be significantly lower. We've included the site infrastructure cost, building demolition, off-site parking costs. So your total project cost now is below $150 million. And I think you're going to...
Yeah, one of the things we did is the schematic design package that was submitted to the county in June of last year. We looked at the totals of what they proposed to you. The aero design time was 24 months in total. They had on their construction cost estimate time of 36 months. And basically, the total project start to finish is about 60 months. They already utilized approximately 6 to 8 months of that during schematic design. So right now, you could say it's at 52 months. For us to do a project like this, we're a much larger firm. We have a lot of depth and a lot of resources. Our design time, we could do this project in 11 months. With the drawings that we would come out with and the details that we would have, construction time conservatively can be done within 22 months. Start to finish, we're at approximately 33 months to finish this project versus the 52 that are left. Our total project cost, again, would be $147 million, just above, and total project cost versus the other 201. And the final recommendations, Kurt, go ahead.
So these are the things that we've talked about that we recommend you change to revise the building design, and it would decrease overall square footage. It will reduce the cost of the courthouse. Change the design to incorporate 6 courts per floor instead of the current 4 courts per floor. This will decrease the height of the building to 6 levels instead of 10. Eliminate the interior atrium and enlarge enclosed spaces. This will, reduce maintenance cost as well as you move forward. You'll still get natural light into the courtrooms, as we showed you. Reduce the number of inmate and judicial elevators and building escalators. Reduce courtroom sizes. Determine how many large courtrooms need to be in the facility and discuss that with the judicial. Reduce the inmate holding to some point. We know there are a lot here, so a lot of holding in this building, so it can be reduced. And then plan for future expansion in the future and eliminate vacant or empty space that you'd put into the building now. So those are how you can get down to where you need to be. Next steps?
Yeah, the next steps that you have to do to fix the schematic design is you need a new building layout, new courtroom sizes, new holding areas, new overall court floor plan, a new site plan. You need to incorporate and plan for future expansion. Build new elevations, prepare a new cost estimate, add the spaces of grand jury, adult probation, and get structural and MEP engineering input from other consultants. Moving forward, you could hire HOK to lead the design of your new courthouse. Again, we have extensive experience in courthouse design. There's 4 phases of the project: schematic design, design development, construction documents, and then construction. But we can actually take what we already have and what we've learned through this process, and we can incorporate a revised schematic design into the design development phase for you. And with our reduced design time that we already have, it would allow for this, and you wouldn't lose any time in the overall project. So we thank you for your time. We'd be honored to design your new courthouse for you and lead that effort. Thank you.
All right.
And Judge, one other thing I'd like to add, when we talk about months, I wanted to put it into years. If we were hired to do this project for you, you would be able to be moved into occupying and utilizing your new courthouse before the end of 2017.
I know, I want to make sure that the court understands all the meetings you've had and who they've been with.
Oh, wow.
I know that we've been involved in at least 4 meetings, and that you've been involved with meeting with the sheriff's office, the DA's office, the probation department, all of the county court at law judges and the district court judges and the county clerks and the district clerks. And you run all these recommendations by them, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And I know that they all gave their approval, as I understand it, to all these recommendations. The size of the courtrooms, the location, the height of the building, doing away with the atrium, doing away with escalators all the way to the 6th floor and cutting it down to 4, cutting out some of the elevators. I don't remember which ones, but that was also one of the recommendations. And the size of the courtroom, now we're talking, instead of 100 plus seating capacity, that we're looking at 80, and all of the judges have approved that. Cutting out the atrium, and cutting the size, the sheriff has approved the size of the inmate and detention facility. Am I correct?
Yes, the only thing I might say a little different to that is we didn't meet with every one of the judges, but a good handful, and your staff followed up with the majority of
Well,
them?
all of them were invited to attend the various meetings,
Yes.
and most of them did show up. How many courtrooms do these 6 floors accommodate?
There are 24 courtrooms in the 6 floors.
What would the cost be to make, well, where are you locating the Court of Appeals?
The Court of Appeals would probably be on the second or the 3rd floor. We would utilize, and we talked about this at one of our last meetings, was the large jury assembly area in the front of the building, using that as one of the courtrooms in the building because, this can be scheduled, jury assembly. The process is changing a lot throughout the industry right now. A lot of people are being called to court electronically.
So is it 24 courtrooms in addition to the Court of Appeals?
Yes.
All right, and I understood that the courtrooms were all going to be the same size, that you weren't going to have, as you stated in here earlier, that not all of them were going to be as big as, are the same size. I thought the only big one we were going to have was the area where the juries are impaneled, that space would be accommodated to, if ever needed, for a large case, that we would have adequate space there in that particular location of the building.
Yes, that's correct.
That's correct, Judge. They went from 2,400 square feet to 1,900. The only one that would be accommodated to add judicial services would be your jury assembly. That would become a large courtroom for, as the district judges and other judges contributed, for a high-profile case such as a capital murder.
And if we make approve these particular changes, we're going to have new schematic design plans worked on.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Am I
Just by
correct?
changing the shape of the building, removing the atrium, and you'd have to redraw this
And that
structural.
would bring the square footage of the building from 471,000 to what?
To approximately 380,000.
280?
380.
380.
Yes.
And the cost would decrease from approximately 200 million to 150 million.
147.
I mean, approximately.
Yes, and we were being, I think, somewhat generous on the cost escalation numbers. The cost escalation figures that were initially being used down here were 6%, and they're actually in the valley now as high as from 7 to 10%.
What does that mean? That the cost could be lower?
No,
Or higher?
We're concerned it actually could end up being higher. And cost escalation, for people who aren't familiar with it, it's the cost of what it takes to procure the materials, the labor, and everything to do with a construction project, and what it's going to cost a year from now as to what it costs today. So we can do an estimate at today's standard, but what's it going to cost 12 months from now?
All right. Well, I know we have representatives from ERO here, and they've been listening to your presentation, and we're going to be giving them an opportunity to address us and respond or make their own presentation. Are you through with yours?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thanks very much. Thank you, everyone.
Are there any questions, Glenn?
Oh, I'm not, but I guess maybe after your own.
Let me just take the other item that is related to HOK. And I did want to say, because I know the court...
Marty, I think the commissioners want to hear the ERO.
Yes, sir, but it's the acceptance of the action to accept the report.
Okay, where are you, what item are you reading?
Would be 3B. You just did A, and now it's acceptance and approval of the, well, that's acceptance of the report is A. So we need action on that.
Motion to approve A.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Item B is acceptance and approval of the invoices by HOK and the deliverable, which is the final report you just accepted, under the letter of engagement, with approval to process, of course, the invoices for payment.
Motion approved.
Second.
Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
And before you get to your ERO presentation, just so that the public knows and the court, we are still in schematic design. ERO is the current contractor. The court has taken no steps to move on to other phases of this project. and therefore, at that point, the court would need to decide how they're going to get to that phase. So no other contemplation at this point of hiring any other firms has been undertaken by the county.
No, right now, we're just talking about the
The
plan.
schematic design is still the one in play.
All right. Brian, are we ready?
Yes. Judge, Commissioners, I'm Brian Godinez with ERO Architects. Joining me is my partner Eli Ochoa, and also Halden Talley, the head of Civic Justice with the firm of HDR. I just want to, as a matter of record in terms of HDR's involvement with us, we went through an extensive vetting process and interviewed several large national civic justice firms, including HOK, CGL, and Ritchie Green. We decided at the time, we made that decision to go with HDR, which coincidentally, the two gentlemen that were here just a minute ago were actually working for HDR at the time when we decided to start moving towards that selection of the process, and we thought that HDR was the most qualified firm to join us at the time. So with that, I'd like to just give a couple of minutes to introduce Halden Talley with HDR and their Civic Justice Group, who worked with us alongside the entire schematic design process with ERO. Halden?
Thank you, Brian, and Judge Garcia and Commissioners Court, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
HDR is we're a national justice design firm, similar to HOK. We, again, have a justice group that focuses in courts and detention projects nationally. Specifically in courts, we have 4 courts projects going in Texas right now, and I've been part of HDR's justice group for 20 years. In getting started on this project with ERO, and again, appreciating the opportunity to work alongside ERO with this, we developed the current design through working with the stakeholders and user groups, beginning with the square footages in the master plan program, and then going through a validation process to carry those forward. In terms of our discussion today, and I'm going to turn it over to Eli Ochoa here in a moment, we don't have a line-by-line item. We're not going to go through the discussion, all the discussion items that HOK brought up. But Eli will discuss what we are proposing to carry forward for the county to bring this process to resolution.
All right. Eli,
So again,
before you
thank
start, we're going to take a 5-minute recess, because if I walk away, we're not going to have a quorum.
Okay. We'll wait for you all to get back.